And on this Monday, January 26th, 2026 edition of Newsmakers, the Washington State Senate Health and Long-Term Care Committee is set to hear public testimony in Olympia tomorrow morning on Senate Bill 6182, which would establish an abortion savings program. The bill would create an assessment on health insurers offering plans in the individual market to fund the program, which would facilitate grants to organizations that directly provide abortions. South Dakota Governor Larry Roden is backing a state Senate bill that he says would protect religious freedom. Senate Bill 113 would make any disruption of worship a felony in South Dakota. The proposal comes after a disruption to a weekly church service in Minnesota earlier this month. Roden says religious freedom is the bedrock of our nation and adds that as a state, we can take action when freedom is threatened. Israel says the remains of the final hostage in Gaza have been recovered, clearing the way for the next phase of the ceasefire that stopped the Israel-Hamas war. Lawrence Brooks reports.
The military had been conducting a large-scale operation in a cemetery in northern Gaza to locate the remains of Rang Vili. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called it an incredible achievement for Israel and its soldiers, telling Israeli media that he'd fulfilled his promise to bring all the hostages home. He said Vili was among the first to be taken into Gaza, killed during the Hamas-led attack on October 7, 2023 that sparked the war. Before Gvili's remains were recovered, 20 living hostages and the remains of 27 others had been returned to Israel since the ceasefire. The next phase of the 20-point ceasefire plan has called for creating an international stabilization force, forming a technocratic Palestinian government, and disarming Hamas. I'm Lawrence Brooks.
Dr. William Fagey, a leader in the global eradication of smallpox, has died. He was 89. Fagey was director of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in the late 1970s and early 1980s, and later held other key health leadership roles. But his greatest achievement came before all that with his work on smallpox while he was a medical missionary in Nigeria. He and his colleagues developed a ring containment strategy for the disease. A smallpox outbreak was contained by identifying each case and vaccinating everyone with who they might come in contact with. Fagey received his B.A. from Pacific Lutheran University in 1957 and attended medical school at the University of Washington. He also served on the Board of Regents for Pacific Lutheran from 1997 to 2006. Fagey died Saturday in Atlanta. And that's Newsmakers for this Monday, January 26th, 2026 edition. I'm Keith Black.